Welcome everyone. Week 4 of video 2 on political environment. Now let us quickly have a look on responsibilities that the governments have toward the business, as well as the responsibility the business have toward the government. Firstly, let's have a look at the responsibility that the government has toward the businesses. With the first point, provision of peaceful atmosphere. We're talking about a fair playing field for all the companies operating within a business environment, which means government implements the rules and regulations that are implemented and enforced, that all the players within an economy, within an industry, within an environment, business environment, are playing on the same field. When we're talking about the provision of the monetary system, we are talking about the banking sector. So government assures that a banking sector in the economy is stable and it's there to provide financial incentives or help to businesses expand their operations domestically, possibly internationally as well. Development and growth. We are talking about government ability to control the development and the growth of the local economy. In other words, if the economy is growing way too fast, in the long term, that causes concerns because it leads to a high increase in prices, destabilizes the entire economy, and of course the players within the same. So the government will always aim to keep an eye on a growth of the economy at the level that is suitable for everyone. For example, Australian economy needs to grow anywhere between 2 and 3%. Chinese economy, on the other hand, should grow anywhere between 8 and 9% to have that growth being stable. The next point is looking into the basic infrastructure. Government responsibilities to provide roads, railways, airports, and all the things that are needed for the organization to operate within a domestic market, and of course the international one. So the government, through the taxes that they receive, will make sure that those infrastructural projects are implemented that support the local economy. Provision of the information that is needed for the businesses. Every now and then, government will introduce new laws and policies which need to be very clear and transparent to the players within the industry. Sometimes some of them will not check those new laws on a regular basis. So the government has to make sure that all the businesses are fully informed of the new laws and expectations of the businesses within the same industry. To assist small-scale industries, often government provides special subsidies, helping hand for the businesses to help them grow over a certain period of time. Government often provides necessary help and information for those small businesses, giving them strategic advice in order to help them at least through that preliminary stage establish themselves within an industry, and of course subsequently government will receive benefits in form of taxes and employment benefits that they will generate for the economy. The last one, or second last one, it's licensing and inspections. Government has to make sure that all the players within the economy are obtaining the permits and licenses that are needed to operate within that economy. 20 years ago, when I was opening one of my businesses, I had to physically go to the CBD in order to obtain the license. Today, it's all done electronically. Even the payments, even the license arrives in electronic form, which of course has to be displayed at the establishment that is running. And the last point is looking into the protection and from the foreign competition. Well, in some way that goes against the last point we looked into in the previous slide, globalization. But nevertheless, government often steps in and makes sure that businesses themselves, especially those ones that are subject to a global international organization, are not swallowed up in domestic market, and therefore government will provide body. In Australia, it's called ACCC, which will step in and provide a helping hand for the businesses in order to survive the inflow of the foreign competition. Let us now have a look at the responsibilities that the businesses have toward the government. The main one would be, of course, taxation. But as we've seen in the previous slide, we know that the government actually take that money and reinvest it into the things that we mentioned in the previous slides. So it actually works both ways. The businesses pay to the government relevant tax level, and the government then takes that money and help everyone within the economy grow their business even further. But what are the other things? Voluntarily programs. Now, often businesses will actually offer their services to those government incentives that will provide also organization with a favorable view from a general public. We refer to that concept as a corporate social responsibility. What do we mean by that? Government has a certain responsibility toward a general public. For example, Clean Up Australia. Businesses will actually step in, provide their helping hand, work with the government, be behind that voluntary program, and provide a helping hand. Now, that itself will be perceived positively by the government, and of course, government will keep those businesses on a positive books. Promotion of education through concept of the further development of often businesses, when they decide to scale down, change the structure of the business as well. So there are some employees that need to be made redundant. They will also work with the government to help provide those employees with additional training to help them retrain for a different type of industry. Providing a feedback to the government. So basically, feedback about the market, industries, what's currently happening. Government doesn't keep that close eye on what's currently happening in industry unless they were informed by the businesses within. So that will also help them come up with the new laws that will predominantly help those businesses operate more efficiently, specifically if those businesses are joined together and they have a common voice in front of the government, and the government sense that it seems to be a very much established pattern within the economy, they will lead their voice in order to change those laws to work better in favor of the players within the economy, within industry. And of course, the last point, we are talking about the government contracts. Often those businesses will actually tender for the government contracts, and they will be awarded those contracts, which in return improve their books, improve their performance, and then of course employ even more workers. Now that itself works as a positive thing for the government because the unemployment rate will go down, but most importantly, it will actually help the economy grow. So go back to the previous slide, and actually you're going to see that some of these points are interrelated to the great extent. Until next video, take care, stay safe.